What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. Now, it was just over a month ago here at the channel. In fact, the same exact morning that the Wandavision trailer came out later that night. That was completely synchronicity. We had no idea it was coming, explaining a deep-seated Magneto Easter egg in both Avengers Age of Ultron and the post-credit scene from Captain America Winter Soldier, explaining why perhaps Scarlet Witch and her brother Quicksilver had an affinity for those experiments from the Infinity Stone while they were with Hydra, and now a brand new official Easter egg in the most recent release from Marvel, the Wakanda Files, explaining why they were even doing experiments in that region in the first place, and it only helps solidify our original theory. We're going to go ahead and break down this brand new Easter egg, where it came from, and then contextualize it with the video we did just a month ago, all coming together to explain that Magneto may very well already be in the MCU, and what in the world this means for Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and a retcon that allows for the introduction of mutants. We're going to break it all down, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We're still giving away this insane 1/4 scale beta ray bill from XM Studios and our third and final Infinity Saga box set this December. All you have to do to be entered to win, hit the subscribe button, then make sure to leave a comment down below, and if you want, stick around at the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So some quick context in case you haven't already heard the name The Wakanda Files. Earlier this week, it made some headlines, major reveals from Avengers Endgame, and text between Iron Man and Bruce Banner discussing the multiverse and alternate realities. As described by Marvel, this is, quote, an in-world book from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Wakanda Files, compiled by the request of Shuri as part of her quest to improve the future of all peoples, is a collection of papers, articles, blueprints, and notes amassed throughout the history of Wakanda's war dogs. Now, interestingly enough, when they say in-world book, they mean that this is sort of like an artifact from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you may remember it was another Marvel Cinematic Universe book from Infinity War that started the first retcon with how mutants are introduced. There was a nod to Scarlet Witch possibly being unlocked from the Infinity Stone. Well, we took it one step further a month ago and explained this, that the post-credit scene in Captain America Winter Soldier, as well as the discussion between Ultron and Scarlet Witch and her brother, made sure to point out one fact, that it was only the two of them that survived experiments. And then I took it a step further than that and explained that even though they had this scepter now, this wasn't the first Infinity Stone that Hydra had control of. We saw during Captain America 1, Red Skull had the Tesseract as far back as the World Wars. They would have been doing experiments back then, and it could be the case that Scarlet Witch and her brother survived because of whom their father was, and even one step further than that, using a Reddit theory that perhaps he had used his powers over metal or emitted an EMP to stop that Stark Tech bomb from exploding, saving his children. And even though his timeline wouldn't exactly match up with either of the world wars, it would make him rather old at this point, you could have it that his lineage at some point was tied to the Holocaust, making good on Magneto's backstory and working him into the MCU. My basic logic was this: either Marvel's going to stick by keeping Scarlet Witch's father Magneto, or they're not, which would be a major change. And if they are, then he's already around. We just have to work the story out. Well, we got a major Easter egg from this Wakanda Files book, and remember, this is canon to the MCU because the book itself is supposed to be in-world. That explains apparently Hydra chose Sokovia to do those tests in the first place because they found genetic oddities in the population. Gee, you don't say. And this only adds further concrete to my theory that Hydra might have been doing tests as far back as the Tesseract, and there showed a sort of affinity, this latent X gene that we might find out more about in the Eternals, already unlocking in that population. Yes, only Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver survived, but there would have been others, very few others along the way. And as I explained in my original theory just a month ago, as Ultron is listening to Wanda and Petro explain their backstory, he is accessing files on the internet, as he often does, to put it all together, and he realizes whom their father is, or whom along their lineage had tests done on them based on Hydra's files, therefore confirming when he says, "I wondered why only you two survived, now I don't." He's not referring to their resolve or determination, actually just to the file evidence from Hydra that there had already been experiments further on back in their line. So putting a little more weight on this Easter egg in the book, it's not just that that region had the anomalies, that they had some sort of predisposition to it. You'd probably find the same predisposition scattered across the globe. It's just that that region would have had interaction through the experiments, given both the Tesseract and Hydra having access to that and the scepter. Of course, making this really just a geographical situation and circumstance more than anything else. And of course, they would have been running tests there in the region for a while. There would have been multiple families and or lineage that was birthed off of that, and it would be the same anywhere else. Well, basically, you can have an interaction like Captain Marvel and survive, become who she became through that interaction with the Infinity Stone if, well, you're wired for it. But that's the thing, you have to have the interaction in the first place. The Tesseract and the other Infinity Stone and the Scepter were only around at certain times, which means, considering the region, Magneto could already be in the MCU, a product of those experiments either on him or his family, and already be the mutant Magneto that we know he is without having to sort of go around and explain all of this. It's already set up, which is pretty amazing considering we had the snap and the blip. Avengers 1, Nick Fury making sure to say, gamma radiation is dangerous. The Hulk making sure to say before he snapped, it's gamma radiation. It's like I was meant for this. You put that all together, and now you have a huge cross-section of the population that has now interacted with the Infinity Stones instead of just a select few. And yeah, it'll affect a lot of people differently, but there are going to be those who have that gene, the X gene, the mutant gene, who are now going to have it unlocked because they finally had an interaction with the Infinity Stone. Guys, we're about to have a full series focused on Scarlet Witch that involves heavily her loss of family members along the way. It's going to be sort of difficult for the MCU to dance around who's an enormous and infamous mutant in Magneto, who is her father in almost every permutation in the stories in the Marvel Universe, and unless they're going to change that, again, which would be a huge departure from everything we've ever read in the comics, there's a good chance that at some point they're going to have to introduce him, and if not during this series, then it's going to lead to it for sure. I have an inkling that as they start to explain along the way what it means to be a mutant, how all the mutants were created, of course it's going to tie to the blip, but even deeper than that, it's going to start to explain where some of these mutants have been the entire time, some of the other people who have crossed paths with the Infinity Stones, not just the ones we know about, but others, and how people like Magneto and or mutants like Logan became mutants in the first place. Where was their source? I'm sure we're going to have a lot of twists and surprises, but now we know the general basis for it, and it's all centered around the Infinity Stones and having an affinity for those Infinity Stones to unlock the gene, however that was seeded. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below, what you think about this, the fact that Marvel is going this way, how you feel about them using the snap and the blip in the Infinity Stones to help create mutants, and where you think mutants like Magneto have been this entire time. If it were up to you, how would you want to see them introduced? And do you agree with me that it's going to be sort of hard for them to do this whole series based on Scarlet Witch's backstory and life, all of her torment, and not at some point mention her father, who's classically Magneto? Let me know all your thoughts down below, and quickly let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Now guys, we just gave away the final PlayStation 4 Pros when we dinged 700,000 subscribers. That's announced in a video about 2 days ago on the Shang-Chi tournament. If you missed that announcement, all you have to do is scroll back to the channel and look for the winner announcement in the title. We're still giving away this insane 1/4 scale XM Studios Beta Ray build at 750,000 subscribers, and this December, regardless of subscriber count, we're giving away our third and final Infinity Saga box set this year. We already gave 2 away earlier in the year. This will be the final one, again, regardless of subscriber count. If you want to be entered to win, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button and make sure to leave a comment down below. Then make sure to hit the notification bell, notifications turned on to keep up with the videos. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content, and of course, if you want to connect with me on a deeper level than here, I've started streaming quite a bit over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Novellin. I stream a lot of games, mostly World of Warcraft and some of their spell adjacent games. I also have some original music out on Spotify under Allfires, or you can follow me over on Instagram at IamFires to keep up with, well, basically a bunch of Marvel memes and occasionally a couple pictures of my dogs. Guys, thanks so much for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.